Hi there, you're with English Coach. It's me, Simon Elliott, and I'm here today to talk to you about moving forward in your life and what it takes to move forward in your life. So, what are some of the things that stop us or keep us walking in the wrong direction, so to speak? Those things can range from certain health problems, and again, we can speculate on how they happen, but I'm not going to go too in depth with that right now. Distractions that could be potentially fun or entertaining things that you do in the weekend or at the end of the week, but they end up interfering with your purpose or your way, your road in life, and call you over to kind of divert from the direction that you're going and therefore confuse you and confound you and totally take you away from that main road that you were on before. Or even if you've always been like that. One of the other things that tends to do this is lack of ambition or not having anything formed, not having a destination formed. What do I mean by a destination? By a destination, I mean having a place you want to be in your career, having a place you want to be with the people around you, with your family, with your husband or wife or boyfriend or girlfriend, and where you want to be with that person, where you want to be uh, in your life, where you live, what kind of level of graduation would you like to have? You know, all of these things that include life goals and milestones, they can be your direction. Sometimes they are small parts of a bigger goal, and sometimes they are that destination that I was talking about. Um, you could say that when you're dating, you have the intention of getting married. Perhaps getting married is the destination. When you're married and things are going pretty good, or you're working at least to make things really good, the new destination could be having children. And that continues on and on and on and on and on. The destination cannot be too far from your reality, but it can also not be too close. Otherwise, there's no journey there. So, why do a lot of people get off track? It's for those things that I mentioned about distractions, not having ambition, these kinds of things. Also, because something goes wrong. Something goes wrong. You tried something out in your career or your relationship or your studies, and that thing, whatever it was, it failed, and you got demotivated from that. You lost your motivation or you lost your energetic feeling, and therefore you no longer wanted to continue walking down that road. Now, what's the big problem here? What's wrong with not continuing that path? Sometimes that path has actually been very well paved, uh, using creative words here, using a creative metaphor. You literally put down certain, uh, let's say, you did certain jobs, put down certain bricks, you did certain jobs and certain work to build that road forward. So by stopping, by not following that road anymore, you're giving up on that part of the road that you've already paved, metaphorically speaking. Okay? Uh, this can be the biggest mistake. The road ahead is not even sometimes you're paving uphill, sometimes you're paving downhill. Of course, when you're paving downhill, it's much easier. When you're building a road forward through your life, it's a lot easier to build when you're going downhill than when you're going up. So a lot of people stop the project halfway through. Say, oh, this is not for me because it's too hard. It looks like it's going up Mount Everest or whatever. But generally, the higher that hill is, the better your life will be. Not only will you have the tools and the strength to build more and build faster, but you will reach the top and you will have all of the, let's say, gravity on your side when you come down the other side of it. So this is really important to remember, that when you continue on a road, you are using the energy of what you've already created. And when you start building side streets, getting distracted with side streets and other routes, it's taking you twice as long to get to your desired outcome or your destination. So let's go back a little bit and talk about what that means in real life. Well, in real life, changing your approach, which means doing different things to get the same objective or to achieve the same objective, is not wrong, but we tend not to do it. Why? Why would we not change our approach if something went wrong? Well, it does come from a more fixed mindset, and a lot of us do have a fixed mindset about that. That when we make a mistake, that there could be something wrong with us, or we're going to continue making, as I've made a mistake, I'm going to continue making mistakes and feeling stupid and feeling like I don't know how to do this. And I think that's perhaps the most comic part of it, or the part that contains the most comedy, because there's actually no right way of living life. No one has put together a rule book or a strategic method of living life so that it's either pain-free or absolutely guaranteed for success. Most human beings need an approach to their life that is coherent or congruent with what they want. And how can we create a book or a video or whatever that shows them what is congruent for them when their desires or their destinations are sometimes not even clear to them? So of course it's about finding out what those destinations are, but more importantly than that, more importantly than knowing your destination, is having the ability of continuing on the same road, even when you've made a big mistake or even a small mistake, but that you made into a big thing, that you made it mean something terrible for yourself, and you filtered the responses of other people either as directly being negative or indirectly being negative, which may not actually be the complete truth. Some people may have laughed at you or pointed the finger. Others may have been trying to be sympathetic. But the fact is that we often stop following our path forward when we feel humiliated or frustrated, and some of us retake that path naturally later, but a lot of us give up, which is the worst option because you lose your progress, you know. So changing your approach again and again and again. So how many mistakes can I make before I can finally say, oh, this path is not good for me, you know, this path is terrible for me, or this destination is wrong for me? The answer is each time you make a mistake and understand what that mistake is, and you correct that mistake and keep moving forward, even if it is just a small way forward, even if it is just a little bit of progress, you're in a learning process. Of course, if you're going after something that should take months and it's taking you years, and you're getting really, really, really impatient, maybe you need to think more drastically about changing your approach. Maybe you need to think about taking an absolutely different approach. But to go after what you want in life is key. Having a direction, having a north, as people say, is key to making life easier. It shows you what you need to collect along the way, what you need to study, who you need to be with, who you need to follow, who you need to listen to, where you need to be, where you need to work, what you need to be focusing on. Basically, you get forward on those things. When you are open to changing your approach and you do it in a scientific way by trial and error, you have huge success, or you have a high level of performance. Imagine that you are learning every time you make a mistake and you're not afraid to make a mistake. What kind of person does that make you? What kind of strength does that give you, that you wouldn't be afraid to continue even if you made the biggest mistake ever? It means that your destination is getting much closer, not because of the distance, but because of your attitude. It's almost like a warp drive toward your goal or your destination, because you've decided not to listen to any mental negativity as you go forward toward that thing that you want most. So you need to reflect on that. You need to reflect about changing your approach again and again, having a trial and error attitude toward your mistakes and accepting them. Trial and error leads to something very, very, very stable and very, very, very positive, which is progress. Tony Robbins and other coaches and inspirational people have actually been officially quoted as having saying that progress is more or less the true path to happiness. Progress is happiness, because every day you can see a little bit of gain, and all of the days and weeks and years behind you show you your ascension. So you feel in your mind and your heart that you're on your way. And that's a really healthy and sensible way to look at life, to know that you've been slowly making progress for a long time, and you'll continue making that same progress, and that you're pretty content with that. In fact, you have times of happiness when you pass one of those milestones, or even just times of extreme contentment that almost reach the, that emotion of literally being happy. Changing the approach can create a new process as well. So you say, oh no, I need to change my destination altogether. Well, maybe your destination doesn't need changing. Maybe where you are going is important. Maybe it's not about changing your direction. Maybe it's about changing your approach completely, which means that, yes, put some of the things down that you are working on, or put everything down. Stop thinking about the things that you're thinking about, but think of perhaps, or change your mindset to leave space for an alternative route to that place that you want to be, to that destination that you want to go to. When you are able to do that, when you're able to actually not just tolerate your mistakes and go through that process of trial and error, but actually change your approach completely, like a 180, you know, and go in the opposite direction, but obviously with the tools and the knowledge and the resources to get you to your destination. This in the end is going to bring you closer to something much bigger, which is your real purpose. Now, I don't have the time or the rules here to talk too much about that today, but true purpose is basically a simple way of defining true purpose is that larger destination, but not exactly destination, but why you've taken up that direction. So part of it is experiential. Part of it is to do with the destinations that you've chosen. That's part of your real purpose, but also the way that you've been getting there and the way that you've had success, you know, and what you've done with that success, how you've reacted to it. Your true purpose is the ultimate destination, and the modes and methods and attitudes and mindsets that have got you there, you know, in a reflection of a person's profile, you know. But we should not focus on the real purpose of who you are and where you're going. We should focus first on those destinations and breaking them up into trial and error or changing your approach, and then know your logical outcome for that. So know your logical outcome for trial and error. Oh, what was the mistake that I made? How do I need to improve it? Know your logical outcome for changing your approach. Oh, I changed my approach in this way because I wanted to promote this new behavior or this new action. And I wanted to promote that so that I could move faster, or so that I could be more focused, or so that I could see clearer my destination. And then fantastic. So use that as your, let's say, how can we say that? Your mechanic of your car. If you're driving, if you can imagine yourself in this metaphor, driving on the road that you're paving, know your logical outcome of changing your approach, trial and error, and of course, those just mending or rerouting your road forward from being distracted by things that happen in the short term, including little pleasures and entertainments that don't have any fulfilling or long-term value to your destination or to your road forward. Okay, it is kind of complex the way that I speak in these videos, because I always end up using a metaphor, and people often say that I should go over the material a few more times, which I don't like to do because I'm spontaneous, but I'm going to take that advice and I'm going to do that. That's part of my trial and error right now, and I think it's good advice to look over my key ideas maybe for an extra 10 minutes or 15 minutes, and then deliver these things to you on my videos. Once again, for those of you who follow me, thank you very much. And I'd like to thank everybody out there for being here and listening to my videos today. And I hope that you can take something from this, and whatever is not useful, just leave it in the video. I'll see you on the next one.